Hey guys, Coach Kurt here. So I brought this up in previous videos from time to time. The Miami FBI shooting that happened in 1986. I would have been 15 years old. And guys, it's important to bring up that this is basically a decade after the Vietnam War, and I bring that up because of what we know, or the lack of tactical equipment and firearms used by police normally during that time. Again, this was in 1986. Um, they were the perpetrators. William Russell and Michael Platt, were violent offenders, and they were known to use lots of badass weaponry, Mini 14, shotguns, pistols, what have you. And the FBI task force in Miami was hunting them at the time. So we're going to kind of look at that incident and what we learned from it in law enforcement in general. And remember, when I bring things up, sometimes they just weren't available then. Like the type of level 4 body armor and tactics that are taught to law enforcement today are directly because of incidents like this. So as horrible as it is that those agents died, we learned quite a bit from it. And this is what did we learn, and what can we continue to learn and or do better, and we'll go from there. So the cool thing, in 1988, a television movie was made, and it was pretty progressive for the time. I was 17 when this came out, or would have been thereabouts, and I watched it on TV. It does an excellent job of laying out how it happened, how it went down. Generally speaking, it's still a TV show or movie. But let me bring up the importance of a pre-incident battle plan. You're basically going to have a plan of operation. Now, the first casualty of war is always your plan, but there's certain things you have to know. Where's the closest trauma hospital? Are they aware of the possible need of your people? Does their blood types on hand? All that kind of stuff needs to be planned out. Maybe there is a medical team standing by. Maybe there's a paramedic slash EMT on your team. A lot of modern SWAT teams have paramedics as part of the team. These are important things to have set up. Super important, and what you will not see in this show, or you will blaringly see as an issue, is the local police were unaware of this operation. And that is crucial, to have that communication with outside agencies. If you're going to be doing something, especially if you're in their backyard, i.e. local PD, or if your investigation crosses over into their jurisdiction, that they are aware of it. And it's probably a good idea to have them on your team or task force or what have you. These are all generic ideas, but I think you would agree that a lot of these are very important. The first casualty of any battle is the plan of attack, and that is so true, because here you see them explaining they're heavily armed. They're instinctively going into more of a suburban area, so they're thinking, okay, we're in suburbia here before this gets into a really thick populated area. Let's try to take this down. So they do the felony car stop, and the gunfight initially just explodes. Here is a super example of what else we can talk about. If you're going to go to war, bring the appropriate tools. Know that if you are dealing with bad mama jambas with bad weaponry, that you should have bad weaponry yourself. There's no such thing as a fair fight. If there are 2 of them, you want to come with 4 to 6 of yours. Now, they did that. They have more people. But they are armed with the typical weapons at the time. You're seeing .38, .357 revolvers. You're seeing 9mm Smith & Wesson pistols. This was the standard issue at the time. And here I'm saying body armor. Again, they did not have the appropriate body armor at the time. Again, this was like a decade after Vietnam. So there really wasn't that type of stuff being used by law enforcement at the time. Now you can get level 4 plates that can stop rifle rounds and so forth. And then introducing appropriate tactics. I remember in the military, I'm up, they see me, I'm down. The enemy sees me, I'm down. I'm up, they see me, I'm down. You want to shoot, move, communicate with appropriate tactics. Now, it's important to point out, I don't think both of the bad guys, but at least one of the bad guys was a military veteran. I don't remember if he was Army or Marine Corps, but he has some tactics and some actual combat experience and the fighting spirit to keep fighting, and that's super important. You see that he keeps getting hit, but the fight isn't over. He's dead and he doesn't even know it. He's going to bleed out, but he is still fighting. So it's important to point out that the 9mm round at the time was underpowered or inefficient. Not that any handgun round is the best choice in a situation like this. Always bring a rifle. But you can see cover is another issue. Get out of your patrol car. It is a bullet magnet. Hide behind an engine block, hide behind a tree, hide behind a brick wall. These are areas that are actual cover, not just concealment. Right here, you see this agent using the engine block. Guys, the FBI went to the 10mm after this because they thought the 9mm was just underpowered. Now, they overdid it, and the 10mm was too powerful for a lot of agents to control well, so that's where the 40 caliber, or what they used to call the 40 shorty round, was developed. And that's a decent all-purpose round, but now you can see they went full circle, and most law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, which did a huge study, modern 9mm ammo is more than enough for a pistol round. But again, if you're going to go to battle, go with the appropriate weaponry. You see that only one FBI agent in this shootout is using a long gun. He's using a shotgun. Probably the most versatile long gun available. You could load that bastard up with slugs, and it's going to say, pay attention to me really quick when you get hit by a slug. But the bad guys are using shotguns and assault rifles. So should you. Always go to battle prepared for the worst. Another issue is a secondary weapon. You will see that officer or that agent just lost his pistol, and another agent, you will see this agent here, is going to end up getting killed because his gun is malfunctioning. So a backup pistol, I carry a Glock 26 because my primary weapon is a Glock 17, so my magazines are interchangeable. And if my primary weapon goes down, because it is statistically proven that when people shoot at you, your weapon will get hit more often than not. And that's because they are looking at the threat. They're looking at you with that gun. And so it's so often the case that your weapon will get hit. So it's important to have the secondary weapon. So here's an example of the fighting spirit I was telling you about. That if you would have had a backup gun right there, he could have switched to his backup gun. But the one, here we are, body armor would have came in handy here. Man, guys, don't patrol without body armor. Most agencies have policies now. See, here we're showing that agent's getting shot a second time and a third time and a fourth time. He is a relentless bad guy. He has got that fighting spirit where he just wants to kill everybody. Here we go, finishing off that agent. Again, a secondary weapon would have kept him from being vulnerable. So that's a sad situation. Here's that last agent where he has a shotgun. Now, this is a fine example of dealing with the situation at hand. He got shot, shit situation. He's only using his strong arm. He can't use his offhand. And what is he doing? He's going to reload his shotgun because it's a pump. He zips himself up. He pins it with his legs and pumps that shotgun again. I remember training that kind of stuff at the academy. That agent has the fighting spirit I'm talking about. He's continuing to be in the fight. He's using the vehicle as a mount or a prop so he can hold the shotgun up, and he's still in the fight and still engaging the bad guys. I can't even stress enough how important this shootout was as a learning experience for the law enforcement community. We learned so much from it, just like a lot of bad shootouts in history. But A lot of cops today are young. They won't even remember or know about this shootout. But so many of our tactics changed after this. And this is a fine example of, in the movies, how people get shot and they go flying back. I've brought that up in my videos. And instantly they're dead. That is not true. It's amazing how many rounds the human body can absorb before it dies, unless you hit the brain. This is the luckiest guy in the world right now, other than the fact he's already been shot. 2 misses, and uh-oh, he's out of ammunition. So he's like, shit, I'm getting out of this fight. I have no bullets left. He walks right by the agent because he's suffering pretty bad. He's bleeding out. He's going to die anyway. And here comes the cavalry. But he looks over and sees that the cops are coming, and he's thinking probably to himself, great. But remember what we talked about before? Always have local PD know what's going on, or outside agency.
Why come to me?
When I'm a guest in another man's house, I don't reach into his refrigerator without asking permission.
Yeah, you don't go to another person's background or backyard without telling them you're going to be playing there. Don't reach into another man's fridge without letting them know. Communications is crucial. If I am ever working in somebody else's jurisdiction, if I have a case that takes me there, I like to contact the local police to let them know I'm going to be there and get some important intel. I guarantee you the local police have intel about that address or person you may not have. Here's that fighting spirit I was talking about. I love this agent. Dude's a badass, and he's going to finish the fight.
It's over, you best.
So, guys, I hope this was entertaining, but it wasn't meant to be entertaining so much as it was as an eye-opener, especially for new officers that they go through an 18-week academy and then they do 12 to 18 weeks of field training. It all differs depending on your jurisdiction. We've talked about this before. But so much has been taught to us, or so much we have learned from standing on the shoulders of people that came before us. And this is a beautiful example of that. Don't forget the lessons learned. There's a reason why we have backup guns and vests and do the training we do. All right, everybody take care and stay safe.